Hello student, this is Pallad Darbari, your host, and you are watching Pallad Darbari classes. In this video, we will discuss the chapter 3 of microeconomics class 11th, that is the production function. We will cover this chapter in 3 videos. This is the first video of the chapter 3. Let us see the topic that we will discuss in this video. In this video, we will discuss production, production function, and isoquant. Let us discuss the meaning of the product first. The question is, what is product? Goods having the utility for the consumer is called product. Now let us see what is production. The process of creating goods and services having the utility for the consumer so that the things can be offered in the market to earn the profit is called production. We know that to do the production, we have to make use of the factors of the production. Listen, there are 4 factors of the production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. By the use of these 4 factors, the conversion of input to the output is being done. We are creating the goods having the utility only by the making use of these 4 factors. Listen, while doing the production, the producer make use of the producer theory or the theory of the production. In the previous chapter, we have seen the theory of consumer's behavior. We know that the theory of consumer behavior focuses how a rational consumer forms his consumption decision. Similarly, the theory of production focuses on how a rational producer forms his production decisions. That is, how much to produce, how to minimize the cost of production, how to maximize the profit, and so on. The theory of the producer emphasize, or we can say the subdivide into 2 theories. One is the theory of production and the other is theory of cost. The theory of production focuses on how a particular producer make his decision relating to production, that is, how much to produce, how to produce, and so on. And the theory of cost emphasizes how the producer can minimize his cost of production so that he can earn more profit. It means this theory emphasizes which method he should inculcate so that the manufacturing cost should be reduced so that he can fetch more profit. Let us see the factors of the production. We know that we are having 4 factors of the production. The first is land. Second factors of the production is labor. Third factors of the production is capital. And the fourth factors of the production is entrepreneur. Let us see what is land. Land in economic does not merely implies soil. In fact, it is broadly referred to all the natural resources, flora and fauna, earth, building, avenues, air, mineral, etc. The owner of the land receives land in exchange of his contribution to the production process. So land means what? It means all the natural resources, flora and fauna, and the consideration of the land is rent. The second factors of the production is labor. It includes all the physical and the mental efforts of the workers, employees, managers, etc. They gives labor to the organization, and in consideration of the labor, they get remuneration, salary, wages, etc. The third factors of the production is capital. It includes money invested in the business, machineries and tools. A moneylenders or the capital owner receives interest on the amount of the capital contributed by him in the production. So the contribution for the use of the capital is interest. The fourth factors of the production is entrepreneur. That is the skills or the efforts which the owner gives to the production process, and in consideration of the quality, entrepreneurship is profit. Let us see the types of the factors of the production. If we have to categorize the factors of the production, we can categorize the factors of the production into 2 parts. One is variable factors of the production. These are those factors of the production which increase or decrease with the change in the unit of output. Example is raw material, example is temporary labor, etc. The second factors of the production is fixed factors of the production. These are those factors of the production which remains constant irrespective of the level of output. Example, rent, example, salary of the permanent labor, etc. while doing the production, we do the production for the longer period, and at the same time we also do the production for the shorter period. The question is, what is long run and what is short run first? In short run, a firm cannot change all its input. Doing the production for the shorter run is called the short run period, and while doing the production in the shorter run, the firm is not supposed to make changes in all the inputs. So in the short run, we are having two inputs. One is fixed input and the other one is called the variable inputs. The input which changes with the level of output is called variable, and the input which cannot be changed, which is constant, is called the fixed factors. The law which is being applicable in the short run is called the law of variable proportion or returns to factor. Let us see the long run. Doing the production keeping the long term motive in the mind is called the long run production. In long run, a firm can change all its input. So we are having the time period, the firm has the time period, so in the long run all the inputs can be changed. So in the long run, the production can increase or decrease by making the changes in the ratios of the inputs, in the ratios of two inputs. And the law which is being applicable in the long run is return to scale. Let us discuss the production function. Listen, production function means what? It means a functional relationship between input and output is called production function. Let us see what is being written over here. The production function of a firm depicts the relationship between the input used in the production process and the final output produced. It specifies how much units of different inputs are needed in order to produce the maximum output. Algebraically, it can be represented as Qx is equal to F in the bracket L K. Here Q means level of the output, F means functional relationship, L means input 1, that is labor, presuming that the labor is variable factors. K is another input, presuming capital. See the types of the production function. We know that there are two types of the production function, that is the short run production function and the long run production function. We will discuss all the production function in detail. In the short run, when we are doing the production in the short run, it is called short run production function. Here Qx represent the output in the short run, F means functional relationship, L means variable factors, K means fixed factors. Listen, in the short run, if we want to increase the production, if the production, that is Qx, should be increased, then we can only make changes in the variable factors. It means if we want to increase the production, we have to increase the variable factors, keeping the other factor, that is fixed factor, remain constant. So in the short run, the production can only increase by increasing the variable factors. We can't touch the fixed factor because in the short run the fixed factor is static, constant. Let us see the long run production function. Long run production function being represented by Qx is equal to F L K. In the long run, the production can also increase, but in the long run we can increase the production by making changes in the ratio of both the inputs, because in the long run both the inputs are variable. In the short run, one input is fixed and the other is variable, but in the long run all the inputs are variable. So in the long run, if we want to increase the production can only be increased by making changes in the ratio of both the inputs. Let us discuss about the isoquant. The other name of the isoquant is iso product curve, equal product curve, and so on. Isoquant refers to the curve that depicts different input combinations which can produce the same level of output. Throughout the isoquant curve, we have the same level of output produced, but with the different input combinations. Here we can say that two inputs are there, capital input and the labor input, and this IQ represent the isoquant curve. And we know that if we want to increase the capital, we have to decrease the number of the labor, and if we want to decrease the number of the capital, we have to increase the number of the labor, so that we should get the same unit of output. So isoquant represent the different combination of using two inputs so that the same output should be obtained, that is 50 unit. try to see at the point A, 10 unit of capital is being needed and 2 unit of labor is needed to get 50 unit of output. At the point B, to get 50 unit of output, 5 unit of labor is needed and 3 unit of capital is needed. Otherwise, the unit of the output unit will be disturbed. Let us see the first properties of the isoquant. The first property of the isoquant curve is negative slope from left to right. Listen, the isoquant are negatively sloped, that is from left to right. This is because in order to increase the production of one commodity, the production of other has to be reduced. If we want to increase capital, then we have to decrease the labor, otherwise the output label will be disturbed. That is why the isoquant curve is from left to right. Let us discuss the second properties of the isoquant curve. Second property of the isoquant curve is that the isoquant curve is convex to the origin. The isoquant curve is convex to the origin. What it means? It implies the two factors are not perfectly substitute to each other, that is labor and capital. They are not perfectly substitute to each other. The reason for the convexity of the isoquant curve is that the marginal technical rate of substitution is declining. If more number of labor is increased and the less number of capital is being sacrificed, then marginal technical rate of substitution will diminish, and because of which the isoquant has convex shape. Here we can say that more unit of labor less number of capital is being sacrificed in order to increase the number of the labor to get the same unit of output. That is why it is convex at the point origin, at the origin 0. Otherwise it will not be convex at the origin 0. Let us discuss the third property, that is isoquant curve from origin represents higher level of the output. Listen, the isoquant curve to the right hand side represent high level of output. High level of the output means what? It means that more input will be used. So isoquant to the right represent higher output level. Let's see the next property. Two isoquant can never intersect each other because every isoquant represent different level of the output and different level of the output cannot be equal. So two isoquant curve can never intersect each other. Here we can say it cannot intersect at the point B. Why? Because every isoquant curve represent different level of output. Let us see the next property, that is isoquant curve can never be parallel to the vertical or the horizontal axis. Listen, parallel to the vertical axis or parallel to the y-axis means what? It means that we are only increasing the number of the capital, we are not increasing the number of the labor, which is impossible. Why? Because if we will increase the unit of one unit, if we will keeping the one unit one input constant and increasing the other input, definitely the unit produced will be changed, and which is contrary to the fundamental property of the isoquant curve, that is using the combination of two input in such a way that the unit produced should be same. So the isoquant will neither be parallel to x-axis nor be parallel to y-axis. That's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all.